A conversation with the president. Learn more right after this.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Welcome to Community Watch. Greg.
Doc, how you doing, bro?
How are you?
I'm fine.
Well, good, good. So we're talking about Georgia Highlands today.
A subject that is dear to my heart.
And mine.
Yes.
And we have, at last, our new college president, Donald Green, as a guest. And you were telling me it took us a while to get Dr. Pierce here, but I couldn't remember that he'd been here for quite a while before we finally got him on the show.
He had been at the college before, yes.
Yeah.
Before he actually came on the show, yes.
It could be some kind of avoidance thing, though.
Well, with us, I can,
you
we
can
do have
understand
that ability
Yeah.
to kind of, but, you know, we do our best.
Well, we do have President Green with us as a guest today, and it's exciting to have him.
He's an exciting type of person. Every time I see Dr. Green, it's just like he's always high octane,
Yeah.
and I just like that. I mean, I think you want somebody that is passionate and someone that is higher energy because they can pull that out of you. So, yeah.
Well, we will not waste any time with more introductions. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Dr. Green after this.
I'm transferring to the University of West Georgia.
Columbia University.
Kennesaw State.
UGA. Loyola University in Chicago.
Grambling State.
Shorter University. I'm going to Greensboro College, and we all got our start at Georgia Highlands.
No matter where your educational journey takes you, you can get your start at Georgia Highlands College. Georgia Highlands College. Enroll, engage, excel.
Welcome back to Community Watch, and we are thrilled to have with us today President Don Green. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Excited to be here.
You came to Georgia Highlands just about a year ago.
Yes, sir.
From Michigan.
Yep.
And I guess I have, my first question has to be, what made you want to make that move, which is a pretty dramatic geographical move, to Georgia Highlands? What was it about Georgia Highlands?
Well, let's start with what I'd been doing back in Michigan. I was a vice president there for extended and international operations for about 14 years. I had, I think at the last, I had 18 different units under me in the division. And I was getting bored. And I was whining about that to my wife. And she said, you know, instead of whining about it, if you want to do something different, let's figure out something different. And I said, well, I think I'd like to be a president, and I want to be in an institution where there's an opportunity for economic growth, where there's academic growth, where we can really make a difference. And I said, how do you feel about going out of state? And she said, it's got to be warm. So I started looking and came upon this ad. Actually, I was contacted by a recruiting organization that said, we'd like you to take a look at this institution. And I loved it. I loved the geographic distribution. I loved where the economy is going in Northwest Georgia in the future. I love the diversity of the institution, and I love the fact that it wanted to move from being purely an associate's degree institution to also being a baccalaureate institution, which also gave us the opportunity to start with this great base of terrific liberal arts education, communications, sciences, math, and then from there be able to build occupational baccalaureate programs that could really build the economy of Northwest Georgia. So I came down, did an interview. Next thing you know, my wife was down, checked it all out. Happy wife, happy life. Had to make sure Kathy was happy. And then she said, yeah, go forth and conquer. And one thing led to another, and I had the great fortune, I was blessed to be offered the position.
Well, I know that you have initiated a lot of new programs and initiatives since you've been at the college, but one thing that Greg and I have talked about for years is that Georgia Highlands is kind of a not ignored, but a unrecognized jewel in this area, and that we probably couldn't name a family that hadn't had a student here at some point.
At some point.
But it didn't get the recognition that it deserved. But that's beginning to change a little bit now, and we seem to be doing a better job of telling our story. And I think that's one of the things that you wanted to happen. So how are we beginning to do that?
Well, I'll be very blunt. In my first few open houses here at Georgia Highlands, the story that we told the community was, we are a liberal arts speed bump on your way to your bachelor's degree. And we are so much more than that. People just did not recognize all of the opportunities that we could provide, from nursing to dental hygiene to business to engineering and sciences to great communications programs. We needed to start telling our story more clearly. But the other piece about it was, when people thought career, they didn't think about us. That's changed. In fact, this week, the White House put out a report card that was listing the best return on investment across the United States by state. In Georgia, Georgia Highlands College is the best return on investment of any school in the state. How does that happen? You have a low tuition rate with a very high salary return for the different majors that people graduate with. So you put those two together, we're very successful, but we haven't been telling that story. In addition, we needed to reach out more to local employers. Our region that we cover as an institution runs I-75, an area that's big in distribution and now big in manufacturing. But we weren't saying enough about our business programs. In fact, now we're pursuing some additional bachelor's degrees in business. One of those is logistics and supply chain management. Perfect when you're running down I-75, right? So we're starting to communicate that. So we've got value, we've got career opportunity, and we need to make sure that people understand that those are available in 6 different sites, 5 different campuses with a variety of different degree programs. And then there's so much more. I mean, if you think about online, online is our fastest growing area. We have 11 different degree programs that are entirely available online. Have we told people? No. We need to communicate that. So we're just getting out, we're letting people understand the value proposition that is Georgia Highlands College.
And Dr. Green, I have to tell you, my biggest pet peeve with Highlands, which I'm an alum and I love, is that anybody that know me know I'm a proud Morehouse man. And I have a closet full of Morehouse t-shirts, and my son has t-shirts, my children. I've always felt that Highlands has never really marketed itself for as just apparel and different things. I mean, when you if you can say basically no family probably has not been touched, but you don't see it reflected necessarily when you're going down Broad Street. And I've always wondered why Highlands has just never kind of created this branding, this pride thing, that people are proud to have on a Highlands shirt, or even if it's available.
Yeah.
If you go into Walmart in Kennesaw, in Walmart you'll see KSU t-shirts and things of that nature. Because I don't know if the community realizes how many people and how many families have been affected by Highlands.
Yeah.
And when you look at roughly, for $7,300, which I read in that link, that article you was talking about, you can get a degree for $7,300.
Yeah.
That $7,300 is not even tuition for some schools for a semester.
Thank you.
And you're talking about a degree.
Yes, sir.
I don't know that in Northwest Georgia, if we really realize what the importance of Highlands and how it can be such a foundation for future generations. And somehow, as a community, we got to do a better job of creating that pride to be, a Charger.
Yes, sir.
We have to create that pride that I'm just as proud of being a Charger as I am being a Morehouse man.
Yes, yeah. Well, and certainly the Final Four for the basketball team was a turning point that many people across our community stood up and took notice. That was certainly helpful. It certainly helped with institutional pride. But I'm going to tell you a story that really shocked me when I got here. One day I got all the recruiters together and I asked them, what's our message? What's the message that you tell students when you head out to talk to them? And every message around the table was different. And that told me that we didn't have a clear image inside the institution about all that we were capable of. So we decided that there was a three-prong approach that needed to happen. One, brand. We needed to have clarity about our brand and who we were, and we needed to start promoting that. Two, recruitment. We need to start helping people to understand the value that you just talked about. $7,300 for an associate's degree? Unheard of. The nursing program, the number 2 least expensive nursing bachelor's degree in America. Nobody knows that. We need to communicate those things. So we need to begin to recruit around all of the great things we're doing. And then retention. Our retention rates continue to grow every year and will continue to grow because we're making that a priority. So we decided those were very, very important to us. We published for our own employees a set of talking points, branding, just so that everyone was clear about who we are and what it was we wished to achieve. Now, I can't say that work has literally paid off in this way, but I notice from a year ago when I got here to now, more people are wearing Georgia Highlands shirts. More people are wearing apparel. More people are putting stickers on their cars. More people are proud of who we are. So we're doing some things right. We must be. And we're making that impact in the community to help people better understand who we are and what we're capable of.
Because I can tell you of a person who have traveled and I consider myself a product of education.
Mm-hmm.
No great talents that was going to take me, but it was education, and it was my start at Highlands and the faculty there who really helped me navigate the system that allowed me to go to Morehouse, allowed me to go into graduate school, go to study abroad in graduate school. But that started at Highlands. Mm-hmm. And I just think sometimes as a community, we don't realize that you may want to go anywhere, but if you go to Georgia Highlands, you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think we have to do as a community, and I consider myself on staff at Highlands because I just feel like I have a responsibility to help tell that story because Highlands really can change the life, and we have a lot of poverty in this area.
We do.
And when you're talking about high poverty, Highlands is like almost a perfect fit. That it can literally change the family tree of some of these families.
Thank you. Absolutely, because that's the thing. Education doesn't just change the person. It changes the family tree. And we are affordable. You can complete that degree. And now we've got folks who come back to me and they introduce themselves as Georgia Highlands alums, and they say, I was poor. I grew up poor, and now I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I'm an engineer. Such a variety of different careers. And these folks now have amazing lives, and their children are benefiting from a degree that they got way back when from Georgia Highlands. That's the excitement of working in higher ed. You're changing lives, but you're changing the lives of children and children's children and beyond.
Well, we're coming up on a break here, so stay with us. We're going to be back with a lot more from President Green. Don't go away.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your diploma.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future. Find free adult education classes at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We're having a conversation with President Don Green, new president of Georgia Highlands College. Although it's been a busy year, so you're not brand new exactly. You know, you were talking about statistics. One thing I read on our Facebook page actually is that an associate's degree, students with an associate who get their associate's degree have a 72% better chance of success at the bachelor's level. Because you know, there are a lot of students who wonder why do I need an associate's degree? I'm just going to transfer on. And actually staying with us to that point and getting that degree improves your chances of success at the next level pretty significantly.
It really does. You're right.
It's economically. I mean, because if you go from Georgia Highlands, especially within the university system with Georgia, your classes would transfer. And I was just talking to a colleague of yours the other day, and they was talking about how a student left Highlands and went to another institution that wasn't accepting all their credits, but that was because that school was not at at the same level. But I don't know if students realize that. You can when I went to Morehouse, I went with 60 credits. I didn't go with I had an associate's and I went with 60 credits, and that allowed me to go right into Morehouse and finish my degree, get my bachelor's. But economically, you can't compare what it costs to go to one semester for some schools is more than what it costs to get an associate.
How much is a semester at Morehouse?
About $8,000. Yeah.
So that would be your whole degree at Georgia?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I know it's a little bit over $8,000 for Morehouse for one semester. So you can get a complete degree. Degree. You can say I have a college degree from Georgia Highlands.
Well, and the research shows that completers build some kind of internal fortitude that helps them to press on. That individuals who complete that associate's degree before they move on have a desire that they take with them that leads them to complete that bachelor's degree. We know that. Our data shows that individuals who take a series of courses transfer less credit, transfer a lower percentage of their credits. Individuals complete the entire associate's degree, complete more, but they transfer the entire degree. And that's what it's really about, for time, for money, for continuing to keep that desire to accomplish. The more that you transfer, the more you feel that you've accomplished and that you are closer to your goal of finishing that bachelor's degree. It's really important. When you talked about statistics, the statistic I thought you might bring up was the rise in Latino student numbers.
Well, tell us about that.
Well, that's the one that I'm hearing a lot in the community now. Over the last year, we looked at our numbers in the Latino community and the number of students that were attending at Georgia Highlands, and frankly, they weren't that great. And that's not unusual for Latino communities. For many Latinos, they need to come to that aha moment where they realize that if the Latino community is going to play a leadership role in the greater community, they're going to have to see more young people complete degrees and move on to levels of higher responsibility in organizations. And so we had a number of individuals across our institution who volunteered to be part of a leadership, to be part of a Latino outreach team. And that team's worked in the last year to speak with young Hispanic students and leaders in the various communities. And over the last year, we've increased the number of students, of Latino students attending Georgia Highlands by 24%.
Wow.
It's just a big number. And the thing is, there are still so many we need to reach.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you say that, Dr. Green, because when you look at the demographics for the future of America, period, we know students of color, African American, Latino, that number is just growing.
It is.
And any institution has to recognize that and prepare for that, because you know what is coming is coming.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I've always loved about Highlands, from my perception, is that Highlands has always was flexible and able to, you know, to do what needed to be done to address the community. And so I'm wondering, with this increase, what does that look like? Okay, you got more students coming in, but what does that look like from a college perspective? What are some of the things that you are trying to put in place so those students can be successful? Because we know, I was just reading the Scott Foundation, Black Lives Matter, and more African Americans are attending college, let's say now, black males, but they're not graduating. So with the influx, with this growth, what are the colleges doing to, you know, so they can try to, not guarantee, but try to help increase the success rate for those new students?
Oh, you know, I'm so glad you asked that, Greg. And by the way, please call me Don. But be that as it may, I don't know if I'm going to change that habit today. It pains me. So often I talk to moms and dads and aunts and uncles, grandmas and grandpas, and they say, my child is going to go to college. My grandchild is going to go to college. And I ask them, will you please change your vocabulary? And the reason I say that is, every year thousands and thousands of students go to college all across America, and they go to 4-year schools and 2-year schools, and many of them never finish. They never complete. And so I ask parents, please, when you're talking to your child, you don't say, I need you to go to college. I want you to go to college. I need you to complete. I need you to graduate college. I need you to become whatever that child's goal is. I want you to succeed. So we play an important role in that. We have a contract, in my mind, with every student who enters our doors, that we're going to do everything we can to help them to be successful. So we have this amazing group of employees, faculty and staff at Georgia Highlands. There are almost 200 of them, and in fact, Doc here is one of the leaders in this work. These 200 folks are volunteering as success coaches for our first-time, full-time students. You might ask, Greg, why first-time, full-time? Because we needed to have a group that we could kind of get our hands around to begin this process, to really make this process work well. So these 200 individuals are each taking 5 students, and they are going to build a relationship, not an advising, not an instructional relationship, just a relationship where they talk with those individuals, those students, on a weekly or semi-weekly basis, and they say, how's your work going? How's your school going? How's your relationship with your faculty? Are there things that we could do better for you? Are there ways that we can assist you in being successful? And the whole idea is to help those students to stick so that they can finish that entire associate's degree and maybe stay with us for a bachelor's, maybe move on to another institution. But we've got to get them through that first year. We've got to retain those students. Here's what's sad. There are a number of those students who reject that relationship. I don't need that. Pride cometh before the fall. We know statistically every student in America needs that relationship. We're providing it. And there are students who say, no, I don't need it. So now we've got to double our efforts to get to students before they ever show up at our campus so that they can understand the benefit, the opportunity that these success coaches can provide.
Well, I can tell you personally, that I don't know, over the years, I don't know how many times I really have thanked Doc, because I know my success wasn't so much the academic challenges. You know, I can study enough to pass a test. It's navigating life during that time that becomes critical. And having someone take personal interest in you to understand what you are dealing with, to sometimes just give you other perspectives. That's crucial. And in working with brother to brother, you know, me and Doc, we always talk, it's not school that gets most students to me. It's life outside of school.
Sure is.
And having someone that's willing to take that time to say, hey, I see what you're dealing with, but what are some of the ways we can deal with this? And I don't know, and maybe this is where the community can help. Because I do believe, as people who have gone through college, have, you know, did the persistence thing and we made it through, I feel we all have an obligation to help students, especially students, those first-time, full-time students that we know this is new. Who in their family can speak to what they're dealing with? And this is where I really would love to see our community do a better job of embracing Highlands and saying, hey, Dr. Green, Dr. Hershey, what can I do to help? And sometimes it's just being a mentor. And with today's technology, cell phones, whatever, but just be there to talk to a student makes a big difference, and I know that personally. So I think, you know, the program you're talking about is just another one of those things that Highlands is so blessed to have provide students such great opportunity.
Well, you mentioned brother to brother. Brother to brother was really the impetus for first-time, full-time success coaching, because it is the model that reaches out and tells every one of those young men, you matter. What you do here matters. And if you're in the community and you say, you know, I don't have time for this, my kid's not in college, this isn't about a child in your family. This is about your entire community. This is all of us, because Rome is only going to be as successful as the young men and the young women who finish their education, go on to a successful career, and then provide those services to our community right here.
And to the tax base.
Yeah, there's a financial advantage to us too.
Well, we're coming up in a little bit on another break, but I wanted to make sure we mention the fact that our enrollment's up pretty significantly this year. I don't know how it is in the rest of the state, but
demographically, the state, in fact, the entire United States is struggling because we're seeing less people having babies, less people graduating from high school. I'm pleased to say that we are going against that trend. We're up 7% this year, so we're continuing to grow and develop.
Got to take a quick break here. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to Community Watch. We've been having a conversation with President Don Green, Georgia Highlands. We only have a few seconds left, but I want to thank you so much for being with us, and I hope this can be kind of a regular thing.
I'd love to. Love to be here.
Well, being you the president, if you know, like that.
That's right. No, and thank you to both of you gentlemen, because you do so much in our community. You do so much for Georgia Highlands. I'm just blessed to have you both here and to consider you friends.
Well, thank you. Highlands.edu is the website. Thank you for being with us this week on Community Watch. We'll see you next time.